Hey everybody, it's Eric.
And I'm Carla.
Phenomenal Finds ATL, and we're going to show you what sold over the long weekend, President's Day holiday, and the post office was closed, so we had an extra day in there.
Let's check it out.
All right, first thing that we have is this phone, and it sold for $18. Next are these Adidas, and they sold for $38. Here we've got a Snap-on motorcycle jacket, and it sold for $45. These plastic Easter eggs, they sold for $23, and I think we paid, what, $1 or something like that for them. Back here you're going to see the WWE Punjabi prison match playset, and it sold for $67.50. Next we've got a lot of micro machines, and they sold for $27. Buried underneath there is a Casey Kane pullover, and it sold for $7.50. This little sewing kit box, and it sold for $4.50. We've got one Sting hat, new with tags, and it sold for $14. PSP TNA Impact, and it sold for $20. We've got two Scentsy wax melts, and they sold for $10. This Chevy Thunder hat, and it sold for $20. We've got a vintage Mickey Mouse long sleeve t-shirt, and it sold for $36. Next we've got this Micro Machines playset, and it sold for $40. Next is this Looney Tunes miniature golf bag. I think it's to hold your desk pins and stuff, and it sold for $7. We've got these Doc Martens that sold for $40. Next is Castle Grayskull, and it sold for $37.79. Next is this Harley Davidson vintage wolf shirt, and it sold for $40. Underneath this are two like embroidered and feathered pictures, and they sold for $18. Next is this Rolling Stone shirt that we just picked up a couple of weeks ago, and it sold for $70. Next we've got Battle Cat, and he sold for $22. Next is this Hercules cup, and it sold for $15. I think you paid $1 for it. Next is Yoshi's Story for the N64, and it sold for $16.19. Next is this medium-sized dog bandana collar, and it sold for $9. Next is this vintage Arby's Fun Bucket Looney Tunes, and it sold for $9. Next is Sega Genesis Collection for PSP, and it sold for $12.
Yo Gabba.
Next is this Yo Gabba Gabba fanny pack, and it sold for $27. Next we've got this WrestleMania 30 piece of the mat, and it's framed, and it sold for $194. Next we've got a lot of California raisins, and they sold for $10. Next we've got this Ninja Turtles what is this, lunch tray, and it sold for $25. I think we paid like somewhere in between $1 or $5 for that lunch tray. Boogeyman, he sold for $9. There was a second Sting hat that sold for $14. I'm sure that's because Sting's getting ready to retire. We're selling a bunch of Sting stuff, I guess. And then lastly, we've got Battle Armor Skeletor, and he sold for $14. All right, that's everything that sold. Remember to go over to phenomenalfindsatl.com, and you'll find the links to our eBay store, YouTube, and all of our other social media. You're also going to find a link to our big wrestling show in Caverna. Tickets are available for it, and you'll get to meet Scott Steiner if you purchase those tickets. March 9th, and we're sponsoring Scott Steiner. So remember to go over there, check everything out, and we'll catch you later.
Bye.